The traditional way to set goals is to set a goal and move towards it from where you are right now. I've used my own version of something called backward goal setting my whole life, and this helped me go from overwhelmed and scattered in a soul-sucking consultant job to a fulfilling 100,000 plus YouTube channel and one-person business where I'm working less while having more freedom. So in this video, I'll show you 4 simple steps of this backward goal setting so that you can start to achieve your biggest goals too. You definitely don't want to miss step 3, as it's one of the most important steps, yet completely overlooked by most people. Let's dive in. A lot of people are working their ass off and look productive, but how does that matter if you realize when you're old that you actually never wanted to do it in the first place? The harsh truth is that you might end up in a situation where you're working tremendously hard while being unproductive. It's like getting in a car without knowing where you want to go, because productivity is mostly about simply moving in the right direction, not how fast you're going. Because if you're going fast but in the wrong direction, you're actually going backwards. So the only way to be truly productive is to first get as clear as possible on your end destination. And once you know that, you can essentially draw a straight line from that end destination back to where you are right now. And that straight line is the most efficient path rather than going all over the place, or worse yet, in the totally wrong direction. Okay, so how do you actually get clear on your end destination? Let me show you that next. The best way I've found, which completely removes all the fluff, is this. Imagine your old self laying on your deathbed. Imagine that you only have 30 minutes left. What would you think about? What do you wish you had done more of? What do you regret wasting time on? What actually mattered? And what didn't matter at all? The answers to those questions will help you get more clear and realize that only doing those things will make you productive. Everything else is unproductive. So you can simply sit down and reflect on these questions. But if you're serious, I would meditate on it. I would put on relaxing music, turn my room dark, put on some candles maybe, sit down and meditate on the questions. Afterward, I would write everything down. I would be as raw as possible and have no filter. And you can even have a walk afterwards to consolidate your thoughts. Okay, now that you have a more clear picture of what you actually want out of life, you still need to make things more concrete. So let me show you that next. You have your end destination, you know where you are today, and we can draw that straight line. But it's very likely that you live to more than 80 years of age. So the end destination is very far out and blurry. And to make things more concrete, we need checkpoints. Checkpoints to make sure we're actually going in the right direction, but also to take breaks, reflect, and celebrate how far we come in the journey. So in terms of goal setting, checkpoints are like your long, mid, and short-term goals. And how do you set these long, mid, and short-term goals? Let me show you that next. First, you have to define the timeline as you see fit in your life. For me, I will usually look at the long-term goals as 10 years, mid-term as 2 to 3 years, and short-term as 3 to 12 months. And they will all be based on my end destination. So sit down and reflect on that. Where do you want to be 10 years from now, 2 to 3 years from now, and 3 to 12 months from now? Align them all to your end destination. Obviously, things will be more vague in the longer term goals, and that's totally fine. But for the shorter term goals, try to be as specific as possible. Okay, let's move on to step 3, which is probably the most overlooked step. Okay, now we have our end destination, we have our checkpoints, and we even know where we are right now. But imagine a person getting into a car to drive to their destination, but they don't know how to drive, or they're not a capable driver to get to their desired destination. This is what most people ignore. They're so fixated on the goal that they forget that they need to become and evolve as a person. They need to be someone capable of achieving that goal, a capable driver. Okay, so how do you actually apply this in practice and start achieving your goals? I'll show you that next. In terms of becoming capable, I like to ask this question. Who is the person that could effortlessly achieve my goals? What traits do they have and what skills do they possess? It's very likely that there are not only one, but many people out there that are able to achieve the goals you want for yourself. A lot of them are actually able to achieve them effortlessly. So you really want to identify these traits and skills they have that makes it possible for them. After you've done that, you want to score yourself out of 10 in terms of those traits and skills. So get clear on that and make sure you don't lie. If you're scoring yourself higher than you actually are, you'll just make the journey longer as you need to go back and forth. So try to be as objective as possible. And lastly, reflect on which trait and or skill you should focus on first. I like to ask this question: which trait and or skill can I start focusing on such that by focusing on it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? All right, there's one more ingredient I want to give you so that you can finally start achieving your goals. Okay, so now we have our end destination. We know where we are right now, and we have our checkpoints. We're even working on becoming a capable driver for the journey. But what if you have no fuel in your car? We pretty much had everything we needed, and we even evolved into a capable driver. But none of that matters if we don't have fuel in our car. So what exactly is this fuel? Well, it's your purpose and anti-purpose. If you don't have a strong enough reason why to get through your journey, to face all the challenges that will come along, you simply won't follow through. Even though you know exactly how to get there, and even though you have the capability to get there. That is why you need to have a strong enough why. The stronger the why, the less the how matters. This is how struggling single mothers or kids from poor countries become elite athletes. They had a very suboptimal environment about how, but their why was so strong that they overcame it. Okay, so how do you start applying this in simple steps? Let me show you that next. To start building your purpose, answer these questions. Why does your goal truly matter to you? Who else benefits if you succeed? What kind of life are you fighting for? And what are you willing to suffer for? To start building your anti-purpose, answer these questions. What version of me do I refuse to become? What kind of lifestyle, habits, or environment do I never want to get back to? This is a high-level overview of the main ingredients you need to achieve your biggest goals. There are a few steps here, so feel free to jump back and forth and pause to do the action steps. Now, if you want to dive even deeper and also learn how to actually execute and work on your goals, check out my 30-day productivity challenge, which is linked in the description below. And if you're interested in how to turn everything you just did into an effective monthly, weekly, and daily plan, check out this video over here. See you next time.